PLCs, Raspberry Pis, Arduinos. These are three different things, and why does it matter for you if you want to get controls automation? So some people that go into controls, maybe they're coming from an embedded programming background, or maybe they went to school like I did for electrical and computer engineering. If you went to that degree program, you probably interfaced with Raspberry Pis and Arduinos in your college studies. But these are very different from PLCs in the field, so they are very different. So let's talk about those differences. So PLCs are made for industrial automation. They're also created to work in industrial environments, which could be noisy, hot, cold. They're made and built to be able to withstand and be rugged for that kind of environment. So that's one thing. Another thing is PLCs can handle higher voltages than a Raspberry Pi and Arduino. So you can use 4 volts DC directly with a PLC, or 120 volts directly. They can deal with those higher voltages. And the programming languages. So PLCs can work with structured text, function block, sequential function chart, ladder logic, obviously, and different other languages as well. So that's kind of with PLCs, and I think of them if the analogy is like between a tank, a laptop, and a light switch. The PLC would be the tank in that analogy. Now let's talk about Raspberry Pis. So Raspberry Pis are another type of computer, but they're a little bit different. They actually have an operating system, so they run on Linux. Unlike PLCs that just have real-time firmware, they get flashed to it when the first time you use it. So Raspberry Pis are good for between 5 volts. If you want to use anything higher than 5 volts DC, you need to get like an external power supply to power that. And so, and a lot of the pins use like 3.3 volts up to 5 volts. So they can do it small voltages. Another thing with Raspberry Pis, you can program in different languages. So you can use Python, C++, for example, and web-based protocols. And they're really good for home projects. And so I think of as a laptop in this analogy as a Raspberry Pi. Now, Arduinos are just much simpler. So once you turn the Arduino on, it's just going to run in a constant loop on whatever code you programmed it to. It can also do between 5 volts and 12 volts DC, but it doesn't have its own operating system. It doesn't have Linux. It doesn't have its own firmware. So it's just kind of like a light switch. You just turn it on, it does what you want it to do. But it also interfaces with input and output just like a Raspberry Pi. So there's 3 differences. So if you're going into controls and you only dealt with Raspberry Pis and Arduinos, it is very different than dealing with programmable logic controllers or PLCs. Hope this helps.